Okay, welcome back to Hangar 51. Today we're going to do a little, let me put the camera down for 1 second. We're going to do a little flight of the F7F Tigercat from FMS. So let's take a quick look here at battery placement. I have the battery placed over the FMS logo. It's completely covering the FMS logo. That's how far back I have the battery. This is the Smart 5000 pack 50C, and we got the GPS in here to give us some speed. And there's my battery voltages, which are upside down, I think. Let me turn around here, show you that. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it says 4.17, 4.17, 4.17, 19, 20, and 20. Okay, so no overcharging the battery. The battery is fully charged. And this is the little GPS. Got to make sure that's sitting up like that to get the call outs. Okay, so now with the battery set the way it's set, you'll notice your nose gear. Yeah, so I gotta push that down in there like that. Okay, so it's completely topped out on the nose gear, sitting here. Okay, there's no weight on the, well, barely any weight. Okay, it's almost, but as soon as you throttle it, it's gonna come down on that. And that's actually a little too heavy. So the battery should be back just a hair farther than that, actually. It should just barely be putting any weight on that. That's a little bit too nose heavy, but it'll be all right. It'll fly fine with that. But in general, you want the battery back so that that nose gear is floating near the top. Almost topped out, maybe not quite topped out, but close to topped out. Because as soon as you throttle it, it's going to pull the nose down on that nose gear. So you don't want it sitting heavy on the nose, just sitting here. It should be very, very light on the nose. All right, so that's just a frame of reference. Okay, so let's get this bird in the air. It's gonna be an obnoxious radio, guys. Gonna get a lot of call outs. Again, I do that so that you guys hear what's going on, and you know, so you'll know what's happening as it's happening. That is deliberate for the video. I don't normally fly it like that, guys. I'm just doing it for the video. I want you guys to ride along with me so you can hear what's going on and be a part of the action. Okay, so let's, so already, the battery's down just slightly because I taxied it out to the runway already. So we're sitting on the runway. Alright, so we're gonna taxi out here a little bit. Alright, last minute check. We are on F7F Tigercat. Left, right, up, down, left, right. Flaps half, flaps down, flaps up. Okay, ready for takeoff. Here we go. Okay, so you guys probably missed that because I had my head tilted the wrong way, but we're good now. So get her up to airspeed here. So 35 knots, we're going to get it up to about 55 knots, I guess, and we'll cruise about there. So let's get her up to, get a little more throttle, get her trimmed down. 52 knots. There we go. That's about the speed I want to be at. That's my cruise speed. So Let me get her trimmed out. Is she climbing? Is she diving? She's doing pretty good, actually. Could probably use just a click up. So, because the battery's just a hair too far forward. But just a little bit, not bad. She looks like she's trying to roll right just a little bit. Give it a couple clicks to left. So the 49 to 55 range is good for the knots. She is diving just a hair. Give it a couple clicks up. So this is so 55 knots. That's roughly about 54 miles an hour, I think it is, something like that. We'll go full throttle here. I want to see how fast it actually goes. So let's find out. $59 knots. 66 knots. 68 knots. Okay, so that's the same speed now that my Corsair is going. So that's like 76, 77 miles an hour. It's the exact same speed my Corsair goes now with the Mustang prop on it. So, so nobody seems to complain that this is too slow, but they think the Corsair is too slow. Well, with the Mustang prop on it, the Corsair is the same speed as this exactly. So within a knot. So, so I pulled it back again. Let's see where we're at. 57 knots. So it went from 68 knots to 57 knots. Still trying to roll. Now I went too far. I was rolling right. Now it's rolling left. We'll give it a click back. Okay, so here we go. Click it down. It's going up a little bit. Alright, so let's come around here. So this is for you, Tui. Pay attention. So here, we're going to do a very close flyby. Listen how quiet this thing is. All you hear is the wind. Okay, so part of the secret to this long flight, guys, is keeping your turns shallow. Okay, I don't yank hard on the stick. I just keep the speed up. Just do my turns gradual. Just let it fly. Don't pull it hard and slow it down. Keep the speed up. Just let it roll. Every time you slow it down, the amp draw goes way up on the motor to get the plane back up to speed, and that kills your battery. So you want to keep it just flying. Just keep it rolling, keep it flying. Don't jerk it. Just let it. Nice shallow turns, nice easy bank. You know, you can bank it over, but just don't pull hard. You know, very gentle on the elevator. Just let it come around. No gyro on board. This is just stick and rudder, guys. Now, there's no gyro, no nothing. No AS3X. There's no flying this with the Radio Master, and I have telemetry, but no gyro, no assisted help of any kind. All right, so I believe that's the 6-minute timer that just expired. So we've been up for 6 minutes already. And now the other timer's going, which is a percentage timer. And they're just for frame of reference, guys. Okay, so I've got my 3.7 volt call out, which is just letting me know that now, at this point for me, I don't do any kind of vertical maneuvers. Once I reach the 3.7 volts, now it's just a nice cruise time. Anything before that, if I want to go vertical, I can. But once I hit the 3.7, and it's just a nice, easy flight like this until I hit 3.6, and then I land. So the plane is slowing down because the battery's depleting. So now we're down to 47 knots. But it flies just fine like this. But if it was windy, you'd have to make sure when you make your downwind turn, that you've got enough airspeed to stay ahead of the wind. Because the initial turn at 48 knots, if you got a 10 knot tailwind, now it's only going 37 knots, which probably is approaching stall speed. So you got to keep that in mind, guys. But we've got almost no wind right now, so we're good. So we're still getting the 3.7 call out, so we're still fine. It'll fly around for 3 or 4 minutes at 3.7 volts, easy. So, like I said, I'm keeping my turn shallow, no load on the motors, so I don't have to get that big amp pull, It's just, just rolling along, nice and easy. There's my 3.6 call out. So we're going to put the gear down. I'm going to throttle up just a tiny bit because we're going to have some extra drag now with the gear down. We got 3 green, down and locked. It's going to make a long. I'm going to make a long approach. So I'm going to throttle back up a little more. Get around this big tree up here. Okay, we're going to turn for base, put the flaps down, all the way, full down, pull the throttle way back, not all the way back, keep the throttle on till you make the runway. Okay, now we're going to throttle back a little more, start flaring, 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 and we're down. And these bearings will roll forever. I hope you saw the landing. I didn't have my head tilted again. This camera is very finicky. Alright, so how long was that flight? Let's take a look at the timer. So we're at 350, almost 4 minutes over the preset. What was the preset? 8 minutes? Yeah, 8 minutes. So the 8-minute timer plus another 4 minutes. So that was a 12-minute flight, guys. Close to. It was 10 seconds short of 12 minutes. All right. The battery voltages are, let's take a look, 362 across the board, all 362s. Okay, so that's a little low, but that's still within what I like because it's easy to bring a battery at, and the voltages as this battery starts to rest will come probably back up to almost 3.7. You know, 3.5, 3.6, somewhere there for sure. And then I can put it on storage charge, and it's easier to bring it up to 3.8 volts than try to bring it down. If it's at 3.89, it'll take over an hour to try to bring that 0.09 voltage down to storage. But this charging up won't take 10 minutes to bring it to storage when I'm trying to charge it up. So that's why I always take it down past storage voltage so that it's easier to bring it up to storage than down. So, and I'm sure my battery is not at all hot. I'll take it out and look. But I'm positive that the battery's not hot. It's never been hot before. Because it's a nice gentle flight, guys. Just cruising. Shallow turn, you know, nothing abrupt, not a lot of vertical on that flight because I was trying to go for distance. You know, if I was flying it a little more aggressive, doing some vertical stuff, I would have still got 9 minutes. You know, but you know, a nice cruise speed around for flight time, I was able to get 12 minutes. I think we'll put it right there in the shade. That looks good. There, right there, RV8 fits and a QQ. All right, so let's get the battery out of here and take a look at it and see what we got. If it's hot or not. I'm sure it's not. So it's warm. You know, it's not like hot like it's melting or anything, but it's warm. But that was 12 minutes, you know. So, yeah. So there's some warmth in the battery, but it's certainly not overheated in any way. And that was 12 minutes. So, all right, Tui. So there you got it. I hope that gives you some something to look at, something to work for. If you still can't get 12 minutes, copying what I just did, battery placement, battery size, you know, the throttle position was just over half throttle, nowhere near 3/4 throttle. But if you're under 3/4 throttle, you should be able to stretch this out for at least 12 minutes or 9 minutes. So if you're only getting 4 minutes, there's something seriously wrong. So that's the best I can tell you. I hope that helps. You guys, all of you, have any questions, comments at the bottom. Be happy to answer any other questions. But pretty much it was a full flaps landing. You know, throttle about maybe 1/3 throttle on the final approach there. It did get, you know, the battery was too far forward. That's why it kind of, you know, it landed a little hard. It wasn't a bad landing by any means, but you know, I didn't stuff the nose wheel or anything, but it was a little harder than I usually flare it a little more, and if I had the battery back just a little more, it would have flared much better. Like I said, it's critical, guys. Make sure it's just floating on the nose gear. It should be sitting just like that, okay? That's how it sits without the battery in it, and it should sit exactly the same with the battery in it. So if you've got the battery pushed back far enough, it's going to sit like right there, you know, just barely compressing that, just barely, okay? And that's what you want, because as soon as you throttle it, it's going to pull down to about there, and it's going to be floating in this range, You know, and it's going to be much easier to flare when you're landing. So that's my advice there. I've flown this a lot now, and I really have it figured out. So don't be afraid to push that battery back. Cover that FMS emblem up completely. You know, I had it right on the edge of where the battery pack is flat. You know, when you pull it back and all that shrink wrap, get it all the way to where the battery is, not the taper of the wrap. And that's where you want it. And you should just be floating on that nose gear. So, all right, guys. Thanks for watching. Comment at the bottom. Subscribe if you haven't. And we'll see you on the next review. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.